Welcome to another edition of the Weekly Rant. This whole thing pretty much started with news, or lack thereof, regarding the whole full tilt poker saga. Well, recently, from what I'm hearing, there are some rumors that would indicate some progress. I've got a couple sources that I talked to, and for a while they were both pretty much in agreement, that both camps were anyway, that nothing was going to happen. However, that sort of seems to be split. At this point, it seems as though half the people believe that this is 100% a done deal, and the other half still believe that it's going to be a long shot for U.S. players to get paid. Bernard Tapie apparently has made a move to Ireland, so it seems as though this deal is going to happen. The question is, what is this deal going to mean for U.S. players? If they open up to the European players again, are U.S. players going to get paid, and when would that happen? One of my sources is telling me that U.S. players will be paid by the World Series of Poker, while the other one isn't so sure. Personally, I don't necessarily know how this financially works out, but all this is good news. So I've gone from absolutely feeling like there's no chance to a little bit of glimmer of hope that some of you guys get your money back. I think it's really important that this money gets put back into the poker economy. There's certainly a lot of money tied up, and yeah, it's starting to show. I think in the last few months, you're starting to see people going, man, you know, I could use that 100,000 or 3,000 or 10,000, whatever it is you have locked up there. So I got my fingers crossed. I mean, I hope something happens, and I hope people get paid. It's been a long saga, and yeah, I guess you just have to wait and see. In other news this week, I was banned from a poker forum for the first time in my life for posting what they considered a little bit of spam. The thing just was totally blown out of proportion. I ended up doing a radio show called Poker Gossip on the Quad Jacks Network with a guy named Jeff Walsh. And on that show, I got a chance to speak to one of the moderators, Joe Tall, who I had a little bit of a Twitter discussion with, and then finally had a chance to speak to the guy who banned me, who from now on will be known as the BanHammer. BanHammer! I ended up being on the radio show for about an hour, first of all speaking to Joe Tall, and then ultimately to the BanHammer. I think overall, if this was a debate, they would have stopped it halfway through. It's a lot easier to win one when you're absolutely right. I pretty much got the BanHammer to contradict himself in several different spots. You know, right off the bat, I concede the fact that I broke the TOS, which is the terms of service. What my argument is, I mean, literally, how many people do you know that actually read that? When you buy a little song on iTunes, do you really read the terms and conditions of all that stuff? Nobody reads that stuff. Nobody has time for that. So instead of focusing on that, I focused on whether or not they genuinely felt like they made what I would consider the optimal decision in going straight to the BanHammer without first sending me a PM saying, yeah, you can't do this either. I've been posting on the forums for 10 plus years and never really received a penalty. And this isn't about the severity of the penalty. It was just a one-day ban, which isn't a big deal. It's really more a case of principle. Like, we're treated like little children over here. You know, naughty, naughty, don't you be posting. We're gonna tap your wrist and put you in the corner for timeout for 24 hours. I mean, come on, give me a break. Really? There's no question that slapping people on the wrist with these one-day temp bans is absolutely alienating to the community. Yeah, maybe a guy made a mistake, but to just ban him makes him feel like he did something wrong. Like, oh, you know, he's not a part of the community. Naughty, naughty, go in your corner. I mean, the idea of slapping people on the wrist, like, who are you, seriously? What do you think you're doing here? It's a poker forum. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. It just is alienating to the community. And this has been a problem with some of their moderators for quite a long time, where people feel they're overzealous with the BanHammer button. And like I said, it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. Take a look at this guy, for example. He was issued a 3-day ban for accidentally posting some spam in a thread, and I mean, it absolutely ruined his day. Both the BanHammer and the owners of the site continue to post in this thread, claiming that they treat all of their posters equally, whether they be regular posters, newbies, or celebrity poker players. And that's simply not true. I'd say about 90% of the posters on the forum, outside of the mods of course, clearly see that there's a contradiction with what they're saying, and my case is a perfect example. For one, he clearly states, the BanHammer does, that he called the owners at 2 a.m. to confirm that banning me was the right choice. The owner looked it over, said, yes, absolutely, ban this guy. Would they have done that for any other poster? How about a newbie that had been posting for only 3 days? No. On that phone call to the owner advised him to give me a 1-day ban instead of a 3-day ban, which is the standard based on their TOS that they follow so closely. Would they have done that for an average poster? Absolutely not. The BanHammer also did some background research to try to figure out if I had sort of a financial affiliation to the Iseries in any way. Would they have done that for an average Joe? Absolutely not. For example, let's say an average Joe posts a thread and it's called Macs are better to play online poker than PCs. And then he goes on this monster thread about why Macs are better, they're better quality screens, yada yada, blah blah blah, right? Are they really going to look into this guy's history and try to find out if he works for Mac? No. The issue here is common sense and courtesy. I've done countless interviews where I've mentioned that forum. I've done so on national television. I've never received a paycheck for all that free advertising, nor have I ever asked for one. No big deal. I'm not asking for special treatment because I'm Daniel Negreanu. I'm simply stating that a poster who has a track record of 10 plus spam-free years should be getting the benefit of the doubt in a petty case like this. I'm going to leave you with one more example. Let's say, for example, you owned a coffee shop and you had a regular customer who comes in once a week and he buys coffee from you. Never had a problem, always paid. Well, all of a sudden this week, he shows up, grabs his coffee, and forgets to pay. Oh my gosh, that's illegal. That's theft. Are you going to call the police? Or are you going to give this person the benefit of the doubt, wait till next week and go, hey, you know, by the way, Joe, you forgot to pay for last week's coffee. No big deal. Call the police? That's the TOS following the line like, oh, we're robots, you know, don't think with our heads. Let's not be human, duh, 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 duh. This person's probably going to come back next week, and if you make a big sting about it, you're going to lose a customer. See, that's bad business, right? All you have to do is wait a week, you get your money for the coffee, no harm done. You think if you call the cops on this guy, he's going to feel real comfortable about coming back spending money in your shop? No. Bad move. Funny thing is, it was this weekly rant that actually caused it. Last week, as you saw, I put a little sizzler video at the front, a 60-second sizzler video for the Iseries, which I thought would be interesting to a lot of people. Then I spent about 4 to 5 minutes talking about why I think this is good for poker, a little bit about the odds and how it works. So originally what I did was, I went to their forum and I posted a thread with the title, you know, Iseries Live, and I posted a link to the website. They took that down. They sent me a PM saying, hey, Daniel, you know, you're not allowed to do that. If you'd like to promote it, you can spend some money with us advertising. I saw that as a little bit of shakedown, but I was like, okay, whatever. I won't post any new threads on your forum. No big deal. I understand. I'm not that guy. Later, somebody else posted a thread called Live Betting on Poker. I opened up the thread, saw some people talking about it, and since I'm knowledgeable about the topic, I would assume that people want to hear from me. So I answered some questions and some concerns that people had about, you know, is this thing shady? How's this thing going to work? Etc., etc. I thought I was contributing. Well, they took down that whole thread that I didn't even start. Eventually, they put back the thread without my comments, and eventually, even clearer heads prevailed, and they put back the thread with my comments. So obviously, they didn't know what the heck they were doing with this whole thing. Then after a very long Tuesday where I spend 12 to 14 hours editing these damn things, I was done at about 2:30 in the morning, and I was excited to post it and see what people thought about the Iseries and my video blog. So there was a thread in their forum titled Daniel Negreanu's video blog. And every week, somebody posts the link to my blog. I had not done that up until this point, but I thought, you know what, I just finished. I'm kind of excited to maybe see some comments and answer some questions before I go to bed, so I'll post it myself. Again, I didn't read the TOS, which says you can't do that. Someone else can, but you can't. You can hire a shill, but you can't do it yourself. Very logical. Bravo. And I also posted a link to my video blog in the Photoshop thread, because as you saw last week, I used some of those funny pictures. You saw me with the, you know, the crazy face. It seemed like an appropriate place for me to put it, since a lot of people there might get a kick out of the fact that I used some of their pictures. Now, all of a sudden, BanHammer is looking at this going, oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? He's going to go spam crazy. He's put two video blog posts in the same thread. Loosen it. BanHammer. No PM. No like, hey man, you know, you're really not allowed to do that. Had he let me know, you know, hey, I said you can't post or promote, I would have said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I couldn't post in threads that were already started. I didn't start any new threads. I thought that was different. I didn't know any better. What did he really think was going to happen? Did he really think I was just going to go spam crazy and go into every forum and just be going like this? I've got no history of doing that ever. As they mentioned, I've had 57 posts in an entire year. So where does he think I'm going to spend the whole night just posting like crazy? A simple PM was the way to go. If you want to hear the entire radio show, go ahead and click on the link below and you'll hear some of the back and forth and some of their points or lack thereof. After I got off Skype and on the radio show, I felt like everything was pretty much squashed. And I was like, okay, you know what? We'll start to talk about repairing the relationship. Maybe I'll start posting again. Then BanHammer goes nuts. BanHammer decides after all this, because he couldn't go mano a mano on the radio to talk smack in my face, he goes on his forum and starts insulting me, calling me a child, etc., etc. I'm thinking, really? What kind of stupid business decision is this? And to make matters worse, instead of the owner apologizing for a mistake they clearly made, He goes on and on about the fact that, you know what, my value to the forum is not nearly as big as everyone thinks. He only posts 57 times in a year, which represents a very small percentage of the posts in this forum. You guys really suck at apologizing. It's that social ineptness and social awkwardness that I understand that you have. You spend 20 hours a day moderating a forum just going like, I can't. Spam! Oh yeah, BanHammer. Oh, there's some spam. Oh, I'm so gonna ban this guy. Get a life, really. So since that point, I've actually been posting on the fullcontactpoker.com forums, which is a site that I basically run and have for a long time. And I'm probably going to do some more posting there, like have a little Ask Daniel thread. And if you want to know my thoughts on things, I'll post in there. If I ever have any things I want to discuss that are forum related, I'll put a link on Twitter. So it's not like I still can't contribute online, both through Twitter and my own forum. As for the future of what's going to happen with this whole thing, I haven't made any rash decisions. I'm still wondering how much further they're going to go with insulting me and telling me I don't have any value to the forum and that I'm not a big deal and all these kind of things. And wonder if they actually even understand what the term apology truly means. Part of an apology usually comes with like two key words, like, I'm sorry, you know, I made a mistake. You know, instead, the owner, he tried to blame it. It was so funny. The owner tried to blame it on BanHammer, saying, oh, BanHammer didn't give me the right information. Then later, he says, no, I don't want to make people think that BanHammer didn't give me the right information. Huh? You first say, you didn't get the right info. Then you say, I don't want people to think I didn't get the right info. Those are your words, not mine. Get a clue. Seriously. Stop backtracking. Swallow a little bit. We all got big egos. Hey, I got a big one too. You guys got big ones too. But clearly in this case, you're wrong. I admitted the fact that I broke the TOS. I've apologized for that and saying, you know, sorry I didn't know. But I wasn't going to keep posting like a madman. But seriously, this thing is all pretty ridiculous. I mean, BanHammer! One-day ban, poker, forum, drama bombs when there's like legitimate problems going around the world. I feel silly just taking part in this whole thing, but at the same time, it's principle. And a lot of people have spoken up saying that, you know, hey, this is not right, you know? This is a community they want to be a part of, and they don't want to feel like every little thing they do is being micromanaged. So loosen up, guys. Have a beer, you know, have a drink, chillax. You know what? Go to Spearmint Rhino on me. 20 bucks, I'll buy you a dance, loosen you up a little bit, you know? Get you a massage or something like that. That's what you guys need. The Iseries is now just a week away. I'm going to go to Ireland for the very first time, so I'm getting in the spirit. Little green shirt. This is like the only green shirt. Oh, I have a few more. I don't even know what it says. It's not quite as like in your face as last week's. You know, I'm kind of a big deal. What? But it's kind of fun. Whatever. I hardly wear this because I've got man boobs now and it just doesn't work well. Especially that the bottom of my frame is rounding out. Not exactly what I was looking for. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys a little update on the action as it's been unfolding. It seems like the early favorite in terms of odds is James Dempsey at 9-1. And I said last week, I said 9-1 is too much on this guy. He's a super solid player, totally in stroke. And a lot of people have been betting on James, so his number's fallen from 9-1 to 8-1. And those of you that aren't familiar with sports betting, I mean, a lot of you poker players mostly are, but those that aren't, the way this works is whenever action comes in heavy on one bet, those odds usually change. So his number will go down while other numbers go up. So if the lesson here is that if you really, really like something or you like a side, you should pick it early because it's probably not going to stay that way. On that note, there is one bet that I told you I like, and that's the 10-1 on me. And I'm surprised that hasn't changed. I just think that I'm going to be like, I would like to think that I'm going to be more aggressive than the average player in this thing, especially because it's a shootout, winner take all. So I think that betting me, you know, at 10-1 couldn't be a bad price. I don't think there's anyone at that table that's way more likely to go broke first. Maybe for us, Jaka, because he's a little bit, woo, you know, Jack 6. Oh, I have a Jack. Oh, Jaka, Jaka, Jaka. He's crazy. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to this trip. As I said, first time to Ireland. I will be there from April 2nd to April 10th. And I'm definitely going to have to try some of that local Guinness beer. As for food, I have no idea what I'm going to eat. Surprise, surprise when I get there. On the 23rd of March, I took a one-day trip out to Los Angeles to help support Huff and Stapes. You remember Huff and Stapes as the hosts of the PokerStars.net Big Game, and they also do their own radio show, and they have for quite some time. Well, for the first time ever, these guys decided to take their radio show and turn it into a stage show along with news girl Jackie Bray, and they also had a few minutes of stand-up with comedian Asterios Koukinos. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry if I didn't, bro. Now, I'm not a regular listener of the radio show, but I found that didn't matter because I laughed throughout. There was a whole bunch of really funny spots, and what I liked best is the fact that it kept moving. They didn't spend too much time on one topic. In between a lot of my laughs, I decided to shoot you guys a little clip. I'll set this up a little bit. Essentially, they do this game called Death Shot or Money Shot, where they play a sound that's going to sound like either one, and the contestants have to guess which one it is. Is it a death shot or a money shot?
All right, let's hear our second audio clue. Ooh. Beth, you're up. Death scene or money shot?
You want it one more time? If you can do it one more time.
Beth says death scene. Let's see if Beth is correct. You guys gotta watch his face at the end. Watch his face. Look right here. Watch. All right, Beth is correct. Let's go with John. Let's hear our next audio clue. In case you need that repeated, it's
Money shot.
He says money shot. Let's see it. Oh, it's a solo money shot.
That's fucking kidding me? That's one of my wedding pictures.
The show was an absolute success. A lot of people showed up. I think they're going to do this once a month at the John Lovitz Theater, which is inside Universal Studios at City Walk. To me, it was well worth the $10 cover charge. And if you're in town next month and they're doing a show, also check the links below and you'll find out more about the show and when they're actually doing it and stuff like that. Or listen to the radio show. It's the same kind of deal. The weather in Las Vegas is starting to pick up. I've only got about a week left, as I said, before I go over to Ireland. But I thought I'd, hit the backyard and hit some balls a little bit and sort of get loose. And just in case I play golf this week, I'd like to get out there. Patty brought her little pooch Pixie over. Cute little dog. I mean, I love my Mushu.
Show off those teeth.
But this dog is damn cute. Normally I dedicate the entire month of May to golf, and I just kind of relax and get ready for a grueling World Series. Although this year it's going to be a little bit different. I'll be traveling, playing EPT, and then I've got to go to Montreal for an event, also to Toronto, and to play. And I'm also going to play the Scoop leading up to the WPT Championship, and then possibly another event right before that. I'll tell you about when the time is right. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to get a lot of golf in until August. But I absolutely love the game. I'm not great at it. My short game's pretty good, thanks to this little green back here. Look at this cute little dog. I mean, how adorable is this guy? And before I forget, another edition of... This week's DGen story is going to be a little bit different than last. It's not about borrowing or loaning. It's just about, pure DGen and priorities. And it happened in Paris, France at the Aviation Club. There was a night there during a WPT event, I believe, where they actually got robbed. And there was actually poker games going on and whatnot. So Philip Ivey was there that night playing in a game. And when he plays poker, he often plays a game called Props. And I've played it with him. The simplest version of Props would be to say, you bet on black or red. Well, there's much more extreme versions of that. And you can bet on all kinds of things, from whether or not, your a 10-5-3 hits the flop, or, if your spades and your jack of spades comes in the middle, it's like you have to pay, or all this kind of stuff. So there's all, those confusing things that you guys have probably seen on high stakes poker a little bit. Well, one of the things that you have to do while you're playing this game is that if you hit a prop, the very next time you hit a prop, you have to say, I'm on for doubles. If you don't get paid doubles. Because if you hit 2 in a row, it's worth twice as much. If you hit 3 in a row, it's worth 3 times as much. So when people often sleep it, if you sleep your prop, let's say you don't even see your prop, you don't get paid. So paying attention is kind of important. But again, the other aspect where people often sleep is saying doubles and triples. Phil Ivey's not the kind of guy that sleeps a lot. And despite the fact that these gunmen came in and told everybody to hit the floor, hands over your head, they're robbing the joint. A lot of people are scared. Phil Ivey was in the middle of a poker hand, and his prop hit, and he was on for doubles. So don't worry. In the middle of all this, totally unfazed by these robbers, Phil Ivey looks over at Barry Greenstein, who he was playing with at the time, and says, I'm all for doubles. I mean, it's like, you just gotta think, who thinks like that? Most people are like, oh no, I'm scared. He's like, no, I'm getting paid. Well, that's all I got for you guys this week. Go ahead and click the like button. I don't know why, but everyone else, when I watch these videos, says to do that, so maybe it's important. Share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Everyone says this stuff. It's just the way you button up a YouTube video, and I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? And I guess this is all important stuff. So yeah, share, spread the word, tell your friends. And as always, I'm going to leave you guys with a random montage of picks that I thought were funny this week, or weird, or, Enjoy, and see you guys next week. I will be in Ireland, so I don't know exactly what this video blog will look like. Might be very like straightforward, simple, but I'll do the best I can. I'm really loving this. I hope you guys are too.